Hello there, my little goldies, and welcome back to the channel, and welcome back to another video. This is going to be part 2 of the color along with Manera, and I'm sharpening some Polychromos because that's what we're using today. So we're coloring out of Meraki. This is her newest coloring book that just came out, and so we started this picture, and it's just kind of a simple little mandala that we're doing today. And this is what we got done so far in part 1, and we're going to finish this thing up today in this video. Plus, we're going to finish coloring this in, plus we're going to add an acrylic background, I think, on this. Because this kind of screams acrylic paint to me, so we're going to try to get all of this done in this video today. So let me go ahead and take care of some housekeeping before we actually get started coloring. Number 1, I am coloring with the visual impairment, so I have to get pretty close to my work so I can see what I am doing. I know I say this in all of my videos, but I do this in case we get some new folks that stop by. And so I always like to kind of clear that up just in case, because you're probably going to see my hair a little bit, you know, probably my head a little bit. It's just I have to get pretty close so that I can see what I'm doing. Also, I will link this book in the description section from Amazon, so you can go ahead and look at that there if you so choose. I will also add this to my influencer store on Amazon. I am an Amazon affiliate, so anytime you purchase anything through any links that I provide, I get a tiny little commission back, and that just kind of goes back in to help to support the channel. And I also have an Amazon influencer store, so you can actually go to that page and browse products that I add there, that it's stuff that I really like and think it is worthwhile to get. So it's just stuff that I add myself. The links that I provide is to individual products that have to do with the video. And also down there is my affiliate page, so you can actually go to that and just do some shopping anytime you want to, if you don't really know what you're looking for. So yeah, that is that, and let's go ahead and get started coloring. So today is Tuesday, May 1st. Oh my gosh, May 1st. Oh my gosh, like, I don't know where I was getting the second from, but I think today is the 1st of the month. So yeah, today is Tuesday, May 1st. All right. I'm getting off on my days, holy moly. All right, so we're gonna take the colors that we used over here in this little section, and we're gonna color this bigger section here. We're gonna do a little bit of shading with it and stuff. And so I'm going to just move that slightly so that we can see what we are doing. There we go. Hopefully we're not getting anybody sick, and hopefully it's not going to be, gosh. Hopefully it's not going to be blurred out. Oh my gosh, this is not focusing real well. All right, let me try to fix this. This isn't good. Hang on 1 minute, guys. Okay. Let's hope we're going to focus. All right. Here we go. All right, let's try it that way. Hopefully it'll stay focused. Ugh. All right, let's try this again. All right, hopefully we're good to go. All right. I'm just going to start out with just some light layers over here, and we're going to pretty much do the same thing that we did with the blues in the circular band right there. Is we're going to try to just kind of blend into the two colors. So I recorded part 1 earlier today, and so I thought I'd go ahead and come back on here and at least start recording part 2. I don't know how far I'm going to get, because my husband will be home from work before too much longer, and I think he wants to mow the grass tonight, so I may get bombarded with lawnmower noises, and so that can be very distracting. So I don't know how far I'm going to get with this. We'll see. We'll see. So I hope everybody's doing well, and I hope you all are having an awesome week. I'm having a pretty good week here. It just pretty much got started. Yesterday was pretty quiet, really. I went to, oh my gosh, like today was kind of weird. Like I went to go edit part 1, and my video editing software decided to give me some fits. So as I was doing one of the clips, like as I was editing one of the clips, it started to, I don't want to say overlay, but it replaced part of the audio with what I had said at the beginning of the video, and the video part was still okay, but it's like the audio part started over again, and I don't know why. And I looked at the original clip and everything was okay. You know, the original clip was okay, so I don't know what the heck was going on with that thing. So no matter what I did to that clip, I could not get it to play what it was supposed to play. So I thought, well, crap. So I went on the hunt for another editing software. And the bad part is this one that I've been using, and I'll still continue to use it, I guess. But the one that I've been using, because I mean that's the one that I used for all my Sims editing. That's the one I used for all this editing over here. And I've had a few other like little minor problems with it too. But the bad part is, like, I paid good money for that piece of software. And it's an older version. It's not, you know, it's not a brand new program. I mean, it's not a newer version of it. For me to get a newer version of it, I'd have to pay again. And I'm a little bit too cheap to do that at the moment. I'm a little bit too cheap to do that at the moment. I don't want to do that. So, it's an older version of it that I have, and I don't know if that makes any difference, but I mean, it runs okay. You know, it doesn't really get bogged down or anything. It runs okay, but the thing of it is, I've had some little minor problems with it, and you know, I paid good money for that thing, and it shouldn't do that. So I had to go on the hunt for a substitute, and I actually found something that I think I'm gonna like. I have to get used to it. I'm not used to it yet, but I have to get used to it. And that did a good job of editing the video. So I got part 1 rendering right now as I'm coloring this. So the test is going to be how the actual finished product comes out. You know, how it renders and stuff. You know, for uploading purposes and so forth. So that was a little bit of an inconvenience. You know, because like when I pay good money for a piece of software, like because I paid quite a bit of money for this. Like I paid about $100 for this editing software. It's not the most expensive one that's out there or nothing, but it still took a pretty good chunk of change. So I mean, I paid good money for this editing software, and for it to do that to me does not make me very happy. And I didn't want to sign off and try to do it in the Mac. I really wanted to keep the computer open where it was. So I had to figure something out, which I did. So the proof is going to be how it renders and what it's going to be like. I hope it works out well. And it actually takes a while for a video to render. Like when you're exporting it from your recording or from your editing software, it does take a little bit to render. So I thought, well, while it's rendering, I would come in here and at least get started with part 2 of this. And we'll go ahead and finish up the mandala here. And then hopefully I should be able to get to the paint tonight. Or if not, I will finish it up in the morning once I am once I am done appearing on Anne's live show. This is Manera. So I'm going to be appearing on her live show tomorrow. I know in my part 1 I said April 3rd, but I also said Wednesday. I think today is actually the 1st, so it would be, actually be Wednesday, April 2nd that I am going to appear there. Okay. And one of the neighbor's doggies is barking. I don't know at what. But I know when the nicer weather is out, we're going to be hearing a lot of that. We're going to be hearing lawnmowers. Because I'm going to have the windows open until it's hot enough to turn the air on. You know, when we get ready to turn the air conditioning on. We usually don't do that until like June or the end of May. If it gets really, really, really warm out, then we'll do it. But we're probably not going to turn air on until around June. Because as much as we can, we'd like to try to get some fresh air in here. So that's what we do. That would be the way that looks. That would actually be a really pretty skin tone right there, I think. So it's more like a peach color, I think, that I'm using here, and then I'm trying to blend it with some yellow. So this actually looks really pretty. This would be a nice skin tone, I think. So I hope everybody's having some nice weather. We actually are, for a change, thank goodness. Thank goodness, because it's been not so nice. And it really didn't want to make up its mind like what it wanted to do. It really didn't. So we've had a few days of, we've had a bit of winter feeling weather when it was supposed to bring spring. Even into last week it was cold. It seemed like over the weekend it really started to shape up, which is good. Because it really needs to make up its mind what it wants to do. And what it needs to do is it needs to stay warm because it's that time of year now. I think it was it last week or something? Like, people were even reporting that there was ice where they were. That there was some ice where they were. And that's not good. That's not cool at all. That just isn't cool. Oh, can't even see what I'm doing. Good grief. Okay. Okay. Yeah, can't even see what I'm doing. There we go. So I did a lot of my chatting like in part 1, and like I said, today was just a day where I just wanted to film. I took the time to film. It was earlier today I was getting a few telemarketer calls, and so I if I don't recognize the number, I'm not going to answer it. And if it's not important enough for them to leave a message, then I'm not going to worry about it. So I got a few of those today, and I have no patience for telemarketers. I really don't. And I know it's got to be a sucky job for them. It's a thankless job, and people get upset with them, and and I'm guilty as charged because I have no patience for any of that. I really don't. And at the same time, I feel bad that they work in a job like that, because it's not, it's such a thankless job. at the same time, I'm like, I still don't like telemarketers. So even though I kind of feel bad for the work that they have to do, in a way I don't either, if that makes any sense. Because I don't want to deal with them. I don't want to deal with them, and I don't want to listen to whatever they're trying to sell. If there's something that I specifically want to buy, I will go and search for it myself. Or if I want to give to a charity, I will do that of my own volition. And we give, like, a lot of our charitable donations is Lions Club related. You know, we do our Lions Club related stuff. And, you know, that's what we donate to. So it's not like we're against charitable donations, you know, we're not. But there's just certain things that we donate to. And I don't see that changing anytime soon. Okay. And, you know, we've been like that for years because, you know, we've been in the Lions Club for a really long time. And that's just what we do. That's just what we do. So, like I was saying in part 1 of this video, we're going to be having a pretty busy weekend because our pen show is coming up this weekend. So we'll be going to that. And I think we're going to be going Thursday night to they always have like a pizza party every year. And so it's going to be like pizza with beer and wine and soft drinks if you want that, like if you don't drink alcohol. And mostly I think it's a lot of the vendors that will go to that. You know, a lot of the people that are like selling fountain pens, you know, the vendors and stuff. But I've often heard that if you go up there, like we're not vendors, but you know, we could go up there if we want to. Like we could still be included. I mean, you have to register for it and you got to pay and whatnot. You know, you got to pay your money to get in each day. But even though we're not vendors, you know, we can still go to it. And I've often heard that you can actually find a pretty good deal Thursday if you go, because this is like before the actual show opens up to the general public. And because we're in the pen club, we kind of get, we kind of get some dibs. So I've often heard that if you go up there on Thursday night, sometimes you can find a pretty good deal, you know, before the show actually opens up to the general public on Saturday. And for Friday, I think it's mainly for the vendors, I think. And Friday night is a live auction, which we're not going to go to. We're really not interested in that. There's some stuff that's going to be auctioned off that's like really, really high-end stuff. That's big, big, big bucks. But we're not going to go to that. So we plan to go Thursday night. And we usually go up on Saturday, and we're probably going to go up on Sunday. There's one year we didn't go up on Sunday because we spent all of our money on Saturday. That was in 2016. Yeah, 2016. I don't think we went up on Sunday. Last year we did. And then in 2015 when we went, we did. Is this our 4th pen show that we've gone to? Because I want to say we went in 2014 and then... Yeah, I think we started in 2015 because this will be our 4th show that we've gone to. Yeah. I think we started going in 2015. Yeah, I think we did. Because I don't think we went in 2014, or we started in 2015. I don't think we went in 2014, because I think that was when we started collecting pens, and I think it was after the show was over with, or before we even knew about it. So we went 2015, 2016, and 2017, and this one I think will be our 4th one. So we always look forward to that, even though the pocketbook always cries, no! Even though the wallet always cries, no! Because we we do a lot of shopping. We do a lot of shopping. I ain't gonna lie, we do a lot of shopping. I think I'm liking how this is turning out. Because the peach is really blending nicely into this yellow, and I'm really liking how it's turning out. Okay. Hopefully we can still see, yeah. So, let me talk about this color along a little bit. So this color along is going to be going on for the whole month of May, and it's going to be featuring the artwork of Manera, and I believe that there's something in there for everybody because she has like 100 books out. I mean, she's done like 100 books. So there's a lot of different themes, a lot of different skill levels that she, you know, that she does. You can find some really easy things to the very complicated. This one here right now, yeah, it's an easy design. But what I'm doing with it is I'm actually doing quite a lot of blending and shading with it, you know, so I'm making it look like I'm not straight coloring it. So, like if I were to straight color this, I would probably get this done in maybe half an hour. But I like to kind of blend the colors and shade them and stuff, and so I take my time to do that. But like I said, you can find, I think she's got something in there for everybody, you know, for all skill levels, all interest types. If you order her books on Amazon, they are printed on Create Space paper because she is an independent illustrator. And so it's all done on Create Space paper, and I know some of you don't like Create Space paper. I get that. I understand totally. But if you go to her website, which is manera.com, you can shop for her coloring books, and you can get them in PDF format. Most of them are in PDF format. There's some that aren't. Like I think some of her older ones aren't. But you can get most of them in PDF format. Or if you don't want the PDF format, and if you don't want Create Space paper, you can get them printed out, spiral bound, and printed on cardstock, which is going to cost you a little bit more considering the binding and the quality of paper that's used. So if you want better paper than Create Space paper, and if you don't want the PDF, you can get the spiral binding one with printed out on cardstock, but that's gonna cost you a bit more. So just be aware of that. But you can order hard copies from her. Now I will say some of her grayscale stuff, which is she's got grayscale illustrations, and she's also got grayscale photography. Now the photography ones, the grayscale photography ones, are not available on Amazon anymore. She had to pull those, and it's because she was having some issues with Create Space, and I guess copyright or something, because like they told her, and I can share this with you because she had shared it in a video, but apparently Create Space told her that unless she could prove that she got permission to use all the photographs that she used, like unless she prints like in the book or whatever, that she got permission to use the photographs that she did, her account was in jeopardy of being deleted, so she had to pull the books. So like the ones that have the grayscale photography in it, like Animal Beauty and I think Autumn Beauty, that one I think, some of the grayscale photography ones are not available on Amazon anymore, but you can order them directly from her if you want them. You can do that. You can order them directly from her. And and she gives you free shipping. And she also does runs coupons. Like she'll often have a coupon code, you know, to get things at a lower price. And I'm gonna flip the book just a little bit. Sorry, guys, I'm making you dizzy. Okay. So she will often have a coupon code so that you can get things at a lower price. Okay. Okay. So you just have to check her website from time to time to look for that. I think the one that she may have out now is called Color 20, which you get 20% off of coloring books. So at checkout, if you're ordering from her at checkout, you would just type in Color 20, and that will give you the 20% off of the books that you order. I think it's still going on. You can check and see, but I think it's still going on. She's also got classes, online classes that you can take, and she does those from time to time. I just took a grayscale class with her over the weekend. And for her online classes, she always has like a handout, like a worksheet with several different pages, and she goes over that and teaches you how to do it. And she often has she often has a coupon code to be able to get the classes a little cheaper rather than at full price. And her classes really aren't that expensive at all, really, at full price. I mean, they're like 15 bucks. And you get like about an hour and 15-minute session, plus the worksheets that she hands out. Just trying to get that harsh line out of here. Okay. So you do get that. So that makes it fun. And I enjoyed it. You know, I enjoyed it. It was really informative. Oops. It was informative. She shows you how she does her grayscale and how to color in both a grayscale photograph and a grayscale illustration. So that was very well worth it to me. And so all of this is available like on her website. She'll tell you, like it'll tell you how to sign up for those. And she's a member of my Facebook group, so like you know, if anybody has any questions or anything for her, you know, just tag her in the group, and I'm sure she'll be glad to answer them for you. So, all right, that's colored in. I like how that turned out. Let's see. Okay, move some things out of the way. Got this bottle of baby aspirin here. All right, so here is what we have so far. Now, the only thing that we have to do is these little spikes right there, and then right there on the outside. But I like how those two colors blended together. I think that is really pretty. I think that looks really nice. So I think I'm gonna grab some green. I think maybe some green will look nice right there. So we're going to put these back in. And this one I think I want here. No, this one, I try to keep these in the order that I had them in, hopefully without messing it up too bad. So I'm gonna grab some green. We're gonna grab a green, grab some green. We'll grab this one, and I'll grab this one. And hopefully they won't need sharpening. Okay. But these should be in good enough contrast where I can shade them out really well. Okay. And I still have to do part 6 of my coloring book collection, because I have not done that yet. And so then that is probably going to be the last part of the collection video. But yeah, I still need to do that. I know many of you love to see that. So I will be doing that. So be on the lookout for that. So that will be coming. I just have to do it. Okay. Try to get those harsh lines out of here. Ooh, I like this. I like this a lot, I think. So again, if I didn't say so, I'm using my Polychromos on this because they seem to work out very well on Create Space paper. So do my Lyra Rembrandts too. It seems like those do very well as well on this paper. Because I used that in Tier Non No Log, which is a Christmas book that got to be real popular last year. That is by Edwina McNamee. And yeah. Ooh. Okay, I'm just trying to get those harsh lines out of here. I think I went too heavy. I think I went too heavy on one of the layers. Actually, what I did was I put down the light first, and then I went back in with the dark, but I think I may try to do I think I'm going to try to put down the dark first on this next one. I'm just going to go real light with it over here. And we'll layer this part. And if I really want to, like, I can take my Prismacolor blender marker and do that and blend it in that way. But I just want to try to do it all with the pencils instead, if I possibly can. Maybe I just got two greens that don't want to play nice together. You know what? Let's see. Let's see what we can find. All right. Do I have it in here? Yes, I do. All right. So what we're going to do is let me take this marker. And we're just going to do it like that. It kind of helps a little bit. It does, it helps. Okay. All right, that kind of helps a little bit, like so. Actually, what I could do with this too, some of it really doesn't need it. And I'm just kind of cleaning it off a little bit, but I'm just going to run it over this. There we go. I'm just going to run it over this part. And what it does, it just kind of makes it blend a little bit nicer. This sometimes is my best friend on Create Space paper. I am not going to lie, sometimes it is my best buddy on Create Space paper. Now this is an alcohol marker, This is an alcohol marker. It is a Prismacolor colorless blender marker. So it is an alcohol marker, meaning that it will, you'll see indentations of what you're doing on the back of the page right there. So when you use this thing, now if you use Gamsol oil, you're not going to see that as much, but if you use this thing, you are going to see the indentation on the page of where this marker was. Okay. And I'm just going to go over it just real quick, like. Just to maybe smooth out some of those harsher lines right there. Okay. There's that. I'm going to clean it off a little bit. I'll go for this green again. Okay. Now, I'm just going to go over these other parts here with it, just kind of quickly, just to maybe try to get rid of the white, you know, the white where the pencil shows through, like where the paper shows through the white parts. So I tend to do this sometimes on Create Space paper. I should have got my Gamsol oil, because that would have been, I think that would have been helpful. And this is a solvent, so it comes in, this is alcohol, pretty much alcohol, like it's alcohol based, because it does come in the set of the Prismacolor markers, which I don't have. I mean, this is the only Prismacolor marker I have. I don't have any of the colored ones. Okay. So what you want to do is you want to always clean off your marker before you start blending anything else, because otherwise it'll mix in with your other colors. Okay. This part I think is okay. Like, I don't think I need it right there in this part here. I think it seems like with the darker colors it needed it. Okay. So we'll do the rest of the greens, and then we'll go over it with the marker. Okay, where did that pencil go? I'm losing it today, guys. I'm losing it. I am losing it. Okay. So I think I'm just going to try to just do some real light stuff with it, and then we'll build it up. Because like if I go too dark, it seems like it doesn't want to blend very well. Now, these pencils normally blend really well, but for whatever reason, these two greens don't seem like they want to play real nice together. And I don't get it. Well, I mean, you get that sometimes, like when it clashes, and so maybe these two greens just don't like each other. And there go my wind chimes. My wind chimes have been going off all day, which is awesome. I love how my wind chimes go off when it's nice weather out there. So Anne, I hope I'm doing your picture justice. I mean, you guys do such beautiful books, like you and so many other artists, you know, like you guys do so many beautiful, beautiful books, and then like we come along and it's like, yikes. So I hope I am doing your picture justice, because I am no expert in this. I am no expert in this, but I have fun with it. And I think that's what the important thing is to just have some fun. Okay. I said I was going to do the same colors on the outside over here, but I might look for some different shades of green, because I don't think these two are going to play together very nicely. They just don't seem like they want to work very well together. I think I better use this end here. Okay. Well, it's going to be what it's going to be. Somebody's doggy is barking. I think it's the neighbors. Caleb and Alex, they went out a little bit earlier, and oh, I'm sure when, because I think John's going to mow grass tonight, and I think when he does that, I'm sure they'll go out to help. And then when they do, I think Caleb will want to play ball, because he's got this deflated soccer ball out there that he loves to play with. And so when John goes out there to do the grass, like, he goes and plays with him a little bit. He just throws the ball for him, and and then Caleb goes to play with it and stuff. So it's been very, very beautiful today. A little windy, but nothing major. Just kind of enough to get the wind chimes to go off. Okay. I just don't like how these greens are doing together. I'm gonna have to pick, I think I'll pick a couple of different shades on the outer ones. So we're gonna try to force it a little bit. So what to say? What to say? Sometimes, like, when I do 2 of these videos in a day, like, I run out of things to say. I do. I run out of things to say sometimes when I'm doing like 2 of these videos in one day. So tell me, I guess I can ask you guys some questions. Have you guys gotten any new coloring books lately? What have you seen that's been interesting? What have you seen that's been interesting? I've been getting, a few books from Anne, Anne Manera, to get ready for this color along. what I showed you the other day was a few that I got from Creative Haven, and one that wasn't Creative Haven, but it was a tea party book, which looks really cute. Looks very cute. Okay. I'll clean that off after I'm done with getting these two together here. All right. We'll do the lighter one first. Sometimes I just get in the mood to sort of do it a little bit differently. Okay. So even though it's really warming up, it still cools off a lot at night. So, we still have to close up the windows at night. I'm just going to try to just lightly do this. Gosh, I am running out of things to say, folks. One thing I have also done is, obviously I still have my coloring group, Color with Sharon and Friends. It's going to be our main group. But I started a new group called the Pencil Hoe Club. And it was funny because one day I was talking to Shalene, and we were laughing about, the pencil hoe thing, because I always call myself a pencil hoe. And I told Shalene, I said, imagine a Facebook group with, imagine a Facebook group like that. And she says, oh, you should start one. So I did. I started a pencil hoe club. So, if you go onto my Facebook group, it is linked up over there. I will try to. I'll try to remember to link it in the videos from now on. That is funny. That is so funny. So yes, I started an official pencil hoe club. And I call myself that because for those of you that are new here, I call myself that because, like, I have colored pencils at the wazoo. I kid you not. Like, I have so many sets of colored pencils. Anywhere from budget friendly all the way on up to the real high-end stuff. By high-end, I mean like luminance and whole lines. But I've also got, like I said, I've also got the budget friendly stuff too, like all the way, I got a 48 set of Marco Raffines. I've got Crayolas too. I do have Crayolas. And of course I do have Prismacolors. But yes, I have Crayolas. I don't have Crazy Art or Rose Art. I don't have any of those. And I don't have like the regular like Walmart Sargent pencils. I did get the Sargent Supremes, which I haven't tried out yet. I did recently get the Colleen's. I did recently get those, and I've also got the Chameleon color tones, like the dual-ended ones, where you flip them. And so I do have those. And yeah, so I did get the Colleen's. I do have the Sargent Supremes. I got Castle Art. I got Koh-i-Noors, which really aren't, I mean, they kind of are budget friendly, but they're sort of mid-range, like what I would call mid-range, I guess, as far as pricing goes. To me, they're what I would call mid-range. Okay. So I'm just going to continue all around with these two greens, but I think for the outside ones, I'm gonna look for something a little different, because I don't like how these two greens are going together here. Just don't like it. Oh. Hi, dear.
Hi, dear.
Hubby's home.
Huh?
Said hubby's home. Say hi to everybody.
Hi, everybody. I'm home.
Lucy, I'm home. You gonna mow grass tonight?
Yep.
You gonna play ball with Caleb?
Huh?
You gonna play ball with Caleb?
I don't know. I'm gonna cut grass first.
So that's the hubby, everybody. That's him. Oh, he just got home. And just as I said, he's going to go out and mow the lawn. Hey, it beats me having to do it. Of course, you really wouldn't want me to do it like... I wouldn't be able to do it in a straight line. So, depending on how loud the lawnmower gets, I may have to stop for a little bit. And maybe come back in the morning and finish this up, but that's okay. We will make it work. Okay, because I may have to charge up my camera too. I get maybe, oh, here's the cavalry. I get maybe about an hour and a half on this camera, and then I have to charge it again. Oops.
You didn't drink any water.
No?
Or not much. And well, I better get my buttons here.
All right. They were outside quite a bit.
That's good.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. We are getting there. Seems like these little things are taking the longest to do, like these little mountaintop things. They kind of look like little mountaintops. They kind of look like little mountaintops to me. I had to go charge my watch up too because it went dead. Like, I knew the battery was running low, but I should have paid a little bit more attention because it ended up going dead a little bit earlier today, so it was dead. But it doesn't take too long to charge up, really. I have an Apple Watch. I have a Series 1. My husband found it for me at Walmart a few weeks back, and so I've been wearing that pretty much constantly. Whoa. Easy does it there, Alex. So I've been wearing that. But it went dead. I mean, it was like deader than dead. So I had to charge that up a little bit earlier today. I did that while I was rendering, or while I was editing my part 1. So I did do that. Okay. We are almost in the home stretch, folks. Almost in the home stretch. And I'm just taking this Prismacolor blender and just kind of going over it just a little bit because it seems to help. It seems to help with the harsh lines. So it kind of does like a lot of the same thing as the Gamsol oil does, but probably not as well. But it does when you don't want to get out the whole Gamsol oil and stubs. This does pretty good. And I really don't mind the indentation on the other side because it's not like there's a picture on that other side that it's going to ruin. Okay. Okay. I just don't like how these greens play together. They don't play nicely together, in my opinion.
I bet you have a coloring book.
Yeah, I think I do. I should. It said I was supposed to get one. See what I got done so far in this one?
Cool.
Mm-hmm. I just don't like how these two greens look together. I should have tested them out.
Yeah.
They're not wanting to blend real well together.
Right.
So I just got a coloring book, and I'll take a little break and show you what I got. I'm gonna color this last one, and then I will show you what I got. Uh-oh. You picking on that, boy? John's teasing Alex a little bit. Playing with Alex.
What's the matter?
Get him? Hey, watch it, Alex. You make me
Alex, you want out?
mess up my picture here. Go the door.
You want out?
Go the door. There you go. Alright. Oh yeah, he was messing with Alex a little bit. He likes to play. I can't believe Alex will be 2. Alex will be 2 at the end of the month. His birthday is like May 28th, so he'll be 2. He was like 16 months when I got him. Back in September. So I can't believe he will be 2. Like, I can't believe I've had him like 8 months. It's crazy to think how quickly time flies. It really does. Time really, really does fly. Okay. So this Prismacolor marker seems to help quite a lot. Okay. All right. Okay guys, I'm gonna clean off my marker. I'm gonna put these away and I'm going to see what other colors I can find, and then I will show you the coloring book I got. So just give me a second and I will be right back. Okay guys, so here is the new coloring book that I just got in today. This is the one that John found in the mail for me today. This is Relaxing Afternoon by Manera. I don't have this book. I do have the one page that she gave us when we took the grayscale class, and there is a page in here in Meraki, but it's this page here, which is, this is one that is featured in Meraki. And so I do have this page, but this is I don't have this book. I didn't have the whole book. So we can just do a little quickie little flip through on this one. And this one, again, it's on Create Space paper. So it's got, there's some grayscale plus looks like some line art. Ooh, we got a lot of tea. So you have a little bit of everything in here. Okay, so here is that page that is featured in Meraki, and also it was given to us when we took the grayscale class. So this is the one with the flower vase and the teacups and stuff like that on the table. So we have some grayscale plus some line art. Some little doilies right there, which is very cute. Some of it's in landscape. So I'll probably end up coloring out of this one too. Another grayscale one. That's pretty. That's also featured in, I think this page was also in Meraki, I think. This looks really familiar. Okay, so a lot of different things in here. Oh, look at that. That's pretty. That'll be nice to color. So you get some complicated things plus some easier things to do. I think it goes like that. So you get quite a few different things in here. This is a really cute book. Okay, so she gives you 2 of each image in this book. So now it looks like we're into the second set. So again, there's that one page again. So you get two images in this book of each thing. And let me just read you the back of the blurb here, or the back of the book. There's a blurb on the back of the book. And it says, spend a relaxing afternoon coloring. It says a variety of coloring pages fill the pages of this book, ranging from easy to complicated. Grayscale illustrations and hand-drawn pages are included. This book has 24 pages to color with 2 copies of each page, so you can color with a friend or experiment with markers, pencils, or pastels. All pages are printed on one-sided pages and are ideal for framing. Okay, so you get 20, I think she said, what, 24 images? Yeah, 24 pages to color. So there's 24 different images with 2 copies, so you get like 48 pages in here to color. There's like 2 of each image in here. So that is Relaxing Afternoon. And let us go ahead and get back to what we were doing. Okay, so again, we are coloring in Meraki. And let me just arrange a few things this way. Polychromos. Okay, so we are working on this page right here, and we're going to go ahead and finish up the mandala with purple. And I'll tell you what, guys, because we're going to be hearing the lawnmower, I'm going to come back either later or in the morning, and we will finish up the mandala, and then we will add a background to this. So I will be back when we don't have any more lawnmower noises, so just bear with me, and I will be right back. Alright guys, we are back. I had to wait until the next day to continue with this. We had a bunch of lawnmower noises and stuff last night because my husband was cutting the grass, so I had to come back, and by the time he got done with it, and by the time we weren't going to hear any more lawnmower noises, it was starting to get dark, and then when it gets dark, it's really hard for me to see in here at night. I have a overhead light, but sometimes, you know, when it starts to get dark, it pushes a shadow over my book, and then it makes it really hard for me to see. So I would love to have like a dedicated coloring area. That would be really helpful. But until I do, one must work with what one has, as they say. So yes, alright, so I'm going to take, so as I was saying before I cut the video off yesterday, now today is Tuesday, or Wednesday, May 2nd. Wednesday, May 2nd, and I started doing this on yesterday. So before I cut the video off yesterday afternoon, or yesterday evening, I was saying that I was going to finish up with the purples. I was going to do the last round in purple. Okay, this seems like it wants to blend together better than those greens did. Those greens yesterday just seemed like they didn't want to play nicely with me yesterday. So, anyway, today is a new day, and I went ahead and edited the footage that I had for this video. This is going to be a little bit of a longer video because I do want to finish this up. We're going to finish up the last round of the mandala here, and then I'm going to put the paint on the background. And I feel like I got out of the line just a little bit. Grab the eraser. Put the sharpener out in case we need that. And I'm using my Polychromos still on this picture. And I had my Derwent battery operated eraser that I use to erase it. And I'm using my Tagal sharpener. On this. So anyway, not too much happened since I left you guys last night. John finished up mowing the lawn, and then we had dinner and kind of chatted and stuff, and then I went back to the after dinner, and after we got everything done, I went into our bedroom. You know, what I do is, like, in the evening I'll go in the bedroom and I'll listen to my audiobook. I love my audiobooks, and I'm reading, as I was saying, I think in part 1 of the video, I'm reading the Mystic Creek series by Katherine Anderson, and I'm on book number 4. I think she's going to have the 5th one in the series come out in October. It seems like I remember hearing about. And so this one that I'm reading now is number 4, and I believe it's called Spring Forward. And I'm enjoying it. I'd say I'm about halfway through it. And my goodness, there was one part in there though that I was like, holy smoke. One of the characters in there is actually and in a way it's I mean, it's not funny, but in a way it's kind of like, holy smoke, you kind of want to go, oh. But one of the characters in the book is this dog. His name is Rip, and as it turns out, he is an alcoholic. And yes, he is an alcoholic dog, and apparently he belongs to this this old guy. And the old guy had to go into assisted living because he broke his hip and his arm, and his only family, that that he has contact with is his granddaughter, and she owns a she owns a business and works full time, and so it would have been like really hard for her to care for him at home, and so he went into this assisted living thing. Well, he's a 80-year-old former rancher. Like he owned a ranch, and he worked as a rancher, and so seems like I think they do things differently. And so he his only companion was his dog, because at the time his granddaughter didn't live with him. He lived on his ranch until he went to assisted living, after he broke his hip and his arm and stuff. So anyway, his only companion was this dog that he rescued from certain death. And I don't want to spoil the whole story for you or anything, but anyway, so his only companion was this dog, and he never thought anything about letting this dog have a couple cans of beer at night, with him, because he loved this character, this old guy, this character. He loves his Pabst Blue Ribbon beer, and he loves his Copenhagen chewing tobacco, and so he never thought anything about letting his dog have a couple of beers with him at night. Well, not realizing that it's not good for dogs, that the alcohol isn't good for dogs, and because it can pack a powerful punch with people, but it does even more so with dogs. Well, anyway, this dog turned into an alcoholic, and his granddaughter, had to keep an eye on the dog, while he was in the assisted living place, and she couldn't keep him at home because this dog always ran off. Like, this dog always got out of the yard and ran off, and she'd have to go try to hunt him down and stuff, and this dog would come home about 3 in the morning, and he'd be like staggering all over the place and so forth. And she thought that he was just exhausted, right? Well, come to find out, this poor dog was drunk. And so what this dog would do when he would take off out of the yard was he'd go to there was this like seedy bar in town, and this dog would go to this bar, and the guys would buy rounds of beer for him, and this dog would drink 2 or 3 beers in this bar. And the old guy that the dog belongs to, when he was living on his ranch, he would take the dog into the local bar, and he'd get him a couple of beers and stuff, not realizing that it's sort of not the best thing to do for a dog. So anyway, this dog was an alcoholic dog, and he would do everything he could to get out of the yard so he could go down to the local bar to get his fix. And yeah, so this character is an alcoholic dog. And the dog was a blue heeler, which, I have a special place in my heart for blue heelers, because my first leader dog was a blue heeler. His name was Charlie. And if you've been around my channel long enough to know, I told a story about Charlie, about how, what ended up happening to him, how he died like real suddenly. But, so anyway, in the book, this dog is really smart, he's like exceptionally smart. Which Charlie was. Charlie was very smart. And I swear, like, Charlie, he understands complete sentences. Well, so does this dog in the book, apparently. And, but he has quirks. Like, this dog has quirks. He doesn't like any kind of uniform. And he would always go after the mailman and the UPS guy and all that, So, this dog in the book had these quirks about uniforms. And, Charlie had his own little quirks, too. Like, he really didn't care for little kids. And he wasn't really the friendly sort. Like, he wasn't vicious, mind, but he certainly wasn't a golden retriever where there were, a golden retriever is like, oh boy, people, I want attention. Tell me how beautiful I am. Charlie was kind of aloof. And he was very much a one-person dog. He was Charlie was very, very devoted to me. I mean, very, very devoted to me. And, but yeah, you know, he actually, he did like my dad, and he liked my husband. And, Charlie, oh my gosh, like Charlie, he loved to play rough. Like he loved to play rough. And I mean, you know, it wasn't so much to where he would hurt you, but he loved to play rough. And my dad and my husband would do that with him. I didn't necessarily care for doing, you know, I didn't care for doing that because it kind of hurt my hands. But my dad and my husband would play with him like that. And he loved it. Like Charlie loved it. And so, you know, he really did like my dad, and he liked my husband. But he would sort of just, he would be civil to everybody else, but you know, it wasn't like he was real super friendly or anything where he would, you know, where he would like beg for attention or anything like that. And especially like when he was in his harness, like when he was working, he was all business. And he would just, you know, he would just mind his own business when he was, you know, when he was in work mode. You know, I'm not saying that he was perfect. You know, nobody's perfect, but Charlie was pretty exceptional, I gotta say. And in fact, I don't think I ever showed a picture of Charlie. I'll have to go get my picture of him, and I'll show him to you guys. Let me try to blend this together. And I'll take the Prismacolor marker after this too. I don't know, I might not even need that Prismacolor marker on this, because this is doing pretty good here. Seems like a lot better than the greens. There go my wind chimes. I don't know if you guys can hear them. But there go my wind chimes. Well, it's been just absolutely beautiful lately. It has. It's been absolutely beautiful. Okay, I'm gonna go grab my picture of Charlie and show you guys. I'll be right back. All right, so there is my picture of Charlie, and that's me. This was me when I was a lot younger and a lot skinnier. This was years and years ago, you know, way back in the 90s. So this is the younger version of me, but this is Charlie. He was an Australian blue heeler, and as you can see, he had some very, very interesting markings. Yeah, so he was my first leader dog, and I had him from like July of 92 until like March of 99. And I'll tell you that story. I told this story a while back ago, but since then I've gotten quite a few new goldies, you know, who have joined the ranks. And so it was really heartbreaking what happened to Charlie, because like he was always healthy as a horse. Like he never had any like major illnesses or anything up until you know, the end of things. And what happened to him was he got and I'm going to sharpen pencils here. He ended up with a disorder called autoimmune hemolytic anemia, and like it came on with no warning at all. Like one weekend we had gone to our Lions Club convention. He seemed perfectly fine. And I say seemed perfectly fine. I mean, he always acted like himself. We had no clue that something was even wrong or was going to be wrong. And he, you know, he seemed to be perfectly fine that weekend. Well, then we got home, and Monday morning he just started acting like real sluggish. And I thought, you know, well, maybe he's just tired, you know, because we all were, you know, we're always like really tired after these things are over with. And it just started getting worse and worse and worse until like he got to the point where like he could barely even stand up. Like he just got really weak. And so we took him in to the vet because, you know, something was obviously going you know, happening. And so they took a sample of his blood and they put it in the spinner, you know, because the spinner kind of separates the red and white blood cells. And the poor guy, he basically had no red blood cells left. And what this disease apparently does to you is it eats up all of your red blood cells. Like, it makes your body reject all of your red blood cells. It basically starts eating itself. And so I know it sounds really gross, but when you don't have enough red blood cells, you can't carry the oxygen to your blood, and you can eventually die from it. And we were told that if he ever got well, like if he ever, you know, went into remission, you know, because there was meds that we were given to, you know, for him to take, you know, that if he ever got better, he'd probably never be the same again, and it would probably come back. So we were told that we would have to bring him in every day for his blood to be spun up, you know, to check the blood cell levels and stuff. And so Tuesday we took him in, and the levels seemed to be a little better. I mean, he was still a very, very, very sick little guy, but the levels seemed to be a little bit better. And so we had hope, but we knew it was going to be a long haul. Well, Wednesday was much the same, but then by Wednesday evening, he took a turn for the worse, and his breathing got really labored, and his breathing got labored, and he was just in a bad way. And we knew something was up. So we took him back in, and the vet that we had at the time, you know, he's since retired, but he's a friend of ours from the Lions Club. And so he told us, well, you know, it's in his best interest to go to this teaching hospital, and he named the veterinary hospital where he could get a type-specific blood transfusion. Because I guess the way it happens with dogs is you can transfuse, because he actually brought his own dog in that night to do a transfusion. And I guess what happens with dogs is you can do a blood transfusion from any dog the first time, like one time. But if you have to do it again, you need it to be type specific, otherwise it'll kill him. So he brought his dog in, and we were going to do the transfusion, but then, you know, he says, well, he's in such a bad state that to get the best results, you really should go to this other hospital. So we packed him up, and we headed down the road on the way to this other hospital. Well, we got maybe 20 miles down the road, and Charlie died in the truck on the way there. So we didn't make it. So that was very, very heartbreaking for all of us. I mean, I was a hot mess. I'm not gonna lie, I was a hot mess for quite a while after that. And you know, I mean, it was a shock. It really was, because he'd never ever had anything wrong. I mean, he would get the occasional stomach ache and stuff, you know, like all dogs get, you know, how they get how they may eat grass or something, and, you know, it'll come back up, and, you know, he's, you know, like any other dog. I mean, he'd get you know, he'd get the back door issues, and, you know, he'd get a back door bug or something, you know, if you catch my meaning, you know, he'd just get the regular stuff like that, but he never had any major illnesses up until then. And but that thing that got him, boy, it really got him majorly, because it killed him. So that was Charlie. And he was only, 7. Yeah, I think he was only, well, he was 7. Yeah, he was 7, I think gonna be 8. And I had him for, or no, maybe he was already 8. Let's see, 2. Yeah, I think he was 8 already. Yeah, I think he was 8 already, so he was like middle-aged. And I had him, like I would have had him for 7 years in July, you know, had he lived. And by all rights, he should have lived, but, you know, when something like that strikes, you just don't know. You just don't know. And like I said, it happened out of the blue, like we had no idea. And even if we knew that this was going to happen, you know, we probably wouldn't have been able to do anything about it. It was just something that, you know, it was just something that happened. Poor little guy. But yeah, I still miss that dog. And then the one that I got after Charlie was Abby, and she was my first golden retriever. Okay, so since I showed you Charlie, I'll show you Abby. All right. So this was Abby. Whoops. Let me get where it's not going to glare. Okay. So this was Abby, and of course she was with me. This is the picture that they took of us when we were in training. So she looks very, very young here. She was only, you know, not even 2 years old there. So that's Abby and me, and of course I was definitely a lot skinnier than I am now. And I was a lot younger than I am now. That was taken in 1999. So that was like 19 years ago. So I was definitely a lot younger than I am now, and a lot skinnier. And of course you guys know what Caleb looks like, but I had Abby, I got Abby in April of 99. You know, I applied for a new one right away after, you know, after Charlie died. And I know some people can't do that, like they, you know, they don't have it in them to do it. And I'm going to take a sip of my double cappuccino. We got double cappuccino here today. But I know some people don't have it in them to do that. But I told myself, I said, you know, there's nothing that Charlie can, you know, Charlie can't do his job anymore, because, you know, where he's gone, he can't do his job anymore. So, you know, I needed another one. You know, I needed a new one. So I applied right away, and then I got Abby in like April of 99. And she worked until January of 08. And I retired her, and like Caleb, you know, we kept her, you know, we kept her here at the house. And then so Caleb arrived, and I got Caleb in January of 08. And let me tell you, I am not going to go in the middle of winter to Michigan to train for another dog in the middle of winter in Michigan. Man, that was a cold winter. Ooh. But, I mean, I'm glad I did, because then I got Caleb, and I would have had another dog if I would have gone another time. So I'm glad I got Caleb, because I love my Caleb. But yeah, Abby retired in January of 08. You know, right before I went to get Caleb. And then she lived another year and a half. So she died in like, she died in like March of 2010. March of 2010. And she got lung cancer of all things. And believe it or not, she got lung cancer of all things. And she, like one day we were just sitting in the living room, and she had this horrendous cough, and I'm like, geez, Abby, what's the matter with you? Like, I mean, it sounded awful. No, we took her to the vet because she, you know, wasn't acting like herself. You know, the cough kind of worried me, you know, so we took her in and they did x-rays and her chest was just full of tumors. And so she had lung cancer, poor girl. So she lived about another, not even 2 months after she got diagnosed. And, you know, we weren't going to put her through the chemo or anything. You know, she was like 12. She would have been 13 in November. Well, she was 12. Yeah, she was like 12 and a half. And we weren't going to put her through that. So then, Caleb was like 3 and a half, I think, when Abby went. And we had other pet dogs and stuff, but, you know, so Caleb worked until just last September in 2017. And then I went to go get Alex, and of course we still have Caleb, and he's still doing good. He's got arthritis and cataracts, but, you know, he's still doing good. Still pretty spry for his age. And he and Alex are best buddies. I swear, they play together, and they'll cuddle on each other, and they'll lay on top of each other. It's so funny. And Corey, oh my gosh, Corey Scherer, she loves Caleb. She loves Caleb. So I still have to make arrangements to go visit her. And I have to bring Caleb when I do, because she loves Caleb. She loves Caleb. Of course everybody loved Caleb. Because Caleb's a lovable guy. Typical golden retriever. He is very affectionate, and he's a shaggy golden. Like, you know, there's some goldens that have like many goldens, they'll have like long fur, like they have longer fur than a lab does, but goldens can have either like the real shaggy fur, or they can have shorter but sort of wavier fur. Like Abby had the shorter fur and it was wavy, you know. And Alex is more like that. Alex still has longer, you know, long fur, and he's got the feathers and stuff, but his fur isn't real like shaggy like Caleb's is. Like Caleb is shaggy. Caleb's got the fur that won't quit. Like Caleb's got the kind of fur that the girl goldens would kill to have. They would be so envious of his fur, because he's got the fur that won't quit. Caleb does. But yeah. So that's the story of my doggies, or the working ones, you know, the working ones. And we've had pet dogs, like we had a beagle that we've had for years. Actually, Lady was John's dog. Lady was John's dog, and he had her before we even met. So she was John's dog. And then she became my little couch buddy, and I'm just flipping the book a little bit so that I can get to these things and see what I'm doing. Make sure it's in frame. So, Lady became my little couch buddy, because I'd lay on the couch or take a nap on the couch, and she'd get up there with me and lay up there with me, which was cool. She liked laying on the couch with me. And she died some years back of congestive heart failure. Well, actually, we had to John took her in. In the end, you know, John took her in and you know, did the deed. He took her in himself to do it, but she had the complications of the congestive heart failure and stuff. We took her in one time to get the fluid drained off of her, out of her chest, and she was okay for maybe a couple of days, and then it came back. So we just, you know, we kept her as comfortable as we could. She was on Lasix and stuff, and oh boy, poor girl. But yeah, in the end, you know, it got her anyways. And we had a German Shepherd that she just, that we adopted from my grandmother when she was like middle-aged, I guess. She was like 7, I think, when we got her, when we finally took her. And she lived with us for like 5 years, I think. 5 or 6 years. before she had to be, you know, before she had to be put down in the end. And basically what happened with her was, you know, she just got old and couldn't control her faculties anymore, and she could hardly walk, and she couldn't see very well. So she was, you know, it was the complications of old age with her. And I think it was Lady that went first, and then it was maybe a year or so after that Shadow went. And then the latest one that we've had to do was Turbo, of course. Like, for those of you that are new, we used to have this, we had this dog. We got him in like 2010. He was a rescue. And we don't really know what breed he was. Like, he kind of looked like he sort of looked a little bit like an Akita, but we don't really think he was. But Turbo was, he was mostly a black dog, and he had like some salt and pepper markings on him, and sort of a curled up tail, and man, that tail was always wagging. Erect ears, you know. And he had some quirks. I mean, you know, we think that he suffered some abuse and neglect and stuff. And he had some quirks. And so anyway, what happened to him was we got him in like February, I think, of 2010. And then he died in December of 2017. We had him for like almost 7 years. But he ended up getting cancer, nasal cancer. He had a big tumor up his, I think it was a right nostril. Was it the right one? And so we finally had to do the deed with him in December of 2017. And that was really sad. He was around Caleb's age, like he was maybe 11. We don't really know his exact birthday because, you know, when you get a rescue dog like that, sometimes the details can be sparse. But, you know, he was around Caleb's age, and Caleb is 11 now. So Turbo was either 11 or, you know, going to be 11 soon. But yeah, he got nasal cancer, and that was really sad. His poor nose would bleed, and he'd be sneezing all the time. And then he got to the point where he got rather aggressive toward the end. Not toward people, but like with the other dogs. Like, he got aggressive toward the end. So it was like 2 weeks before Christmas of 2017 that we had to take him in and do the deed. So that's the hard part about owning pets, is, you know, when you have to think about the end of things. Because eventually it comes to them all. That end eventually does come, and then you gotta face it. But, you know, they bring us a lot of joy, and I always say, you know, just enjoy each day you have with them, and live it like it's going to be your last, you know, because you never know what can happen. You know, Charlie was proof of that. You just don't know what can happen from day to day. So, anyway, oh, on that sad little note, get a little philosophical. But yeah. But I can't imagine not having a dog. Alright guys, I kind of cut this video off just a little bit because this video is going to be a bit of a longer one anyway. So what I decided to do, because I want to go ahead and finish up the whole thing on camera, is I went ahead and just decided to go ahead and color in these last few pieces on this mandala. I decided to go ahead and do these last 3 parts off camera, and so I just went around and did the rest of them with those 2 purple colors. So here is the finished mandala itself. But what we're going to go ahead and do is I'm going to take this teeny tiny little paintbrush, and I'm going to put some acrylic paint on the background here. So I got some wax paper underneath my page to protect the next images in the book and stuff so that I don't get paint all over everything, because I make a bit of a mess when I do this. So I got some wax paper underneath here to protect everything. And then what we're gonna go ahead and use is I grabbed one of my Dazzling Metallics paint from Deco Art. This is from Americana, and this is Black Pearl. And I thought, you know, we can just add like a little bit of shimmer and stuff to this, because I thought, you know, that I'd go ahead and maybe stickle this, put some glitter on it, but I think if I just add a little bit of shimmer, you know, with the metallic and stuff, then I thought that would be, you know, good enough for this little mandala. It's pretty colorful anyway, so we're gonna go ahead and just add a little bit of shimmer to it, and we're gonna do this background, and hopefully we will do it justice and we won't make too big of a mess. So I got my paint palette here, and I'm just going to put quite a bit on here. So I have the Black Pearl, and I just kind of put some on this little palette right here. You guys can see that. And I'm just gonna grab this little dinky paintbrush, and we're just gonna we're gonna do around the edges of the mandala, and then I'm going to grab a bigger paintbrush when we get to the outer portions here. But I need this little dinky one to kind of get started on around the edges of this, because I don't want to screw up where I colored on it. Okay. And I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to zoom in just a little bit, because I'm out fully. Okay, let's go ahead and zoom in right like that, and I'm going to go ahead and move that camera slightly so that we can see what we're doing. Okay. Let's hope we can do this justice without really borking things up. I really don't want to bork this up. Okay. I'm just going to go around the edges of this, and then what I'll do is I'll take the bigger brush, and I will use that for the outer portions of this. Now these metallic paints, it's not going to be, with matte paints you can actually put your color pencil over it, and it will color over the paint nicely, but with the metallics it's not quite as easy. So if you make a little mistake, you're going to have a hard time putting your color back. Okay. So sorry for the silence, I'm just trying to get where I'm not going to put it over my pencil lines, or my pencil coloring. Okay. So this is going to take a little bit for me to do, but that's okay. We can still sit here and chat for a while we do this. And acrylic paint usually dries pretty quickly. But I'm going to just go in on the edges here very, very lightly, or very, very carefully. I'm going to try to be really careful with it. And then I'll take a bigger brush and go over the bigger areas once I get around the edge here of what we're doing. So I just kind of grabbed a little dinky brush to do this with. I got it just on that little orange part right there. I don't know if I'll be able to get that up or not. Okay. So when you're doing edge work like this, if you can grab like a little tiny dinky brush to do this, that really helps. And then you're not going to run as big of a risk going over what you did with your pencils. So as you can see the shimmer in this paint. And I'm going to need to flip the book as I do this because you know, because I do need to get to the edges. So the going around the design part is the hardest when you're doing this. Now I did get a request to do the paint. When I showed this in my haul video, I did get a request to actually show how I do this paint. And I did this in one of the Tim Jeffs pictures, but I kind of feel like that, I kind of feel like not all of it was in frame, so I'm doing this again, and you guys can just kind of see how I tend to do this. Not that I am an expert in this, because I am certainly not. And I tend to make a bit of a mess when I do this. So this is just how I do it. And there's probably people that do this a whole heck of a lot better than I do. But this is just how I tend to do it. And I'm just trying to go very carefully around the edges. We'll fill in some of this. Now this paint, it seems like the black paint does not streak as badly as like the gold one did. Because I used some gold metallic one on the Tim Jeffs picture, and I had to put like 2 or 3 coats on that stuff because that really streaked. It really did. It streaked a lot. So I had to do like 2 to 3 coats on that one because it really streaked. But the black doesn't seem to streak as bad. You know, for the longest time, like I was so scared to do this. Like I was so scared to do acrylic paint on my backgrounds because like I didn't want to get it on my design. Like I was so afraid I was going to mess up my picture. And if the background is like really complicated, like in a Kirby design, like if it's like Kirby Rosanna's, if it's really, like if there's a lot of twists and turns, I may not do that because I really don't want to mess up the picture. And I hope we can see that. So I'm just taking the little paintbrush and I'm going to go around all of the edge. And, you know, just so you guys are aware, this video is going to be a little bit longer because I wanted to go ahead and finish up this picture with you guys. But because of that, and with the paint, it kind of takes me a little bit longer to do this. So just so you all are aware that this video is going to be a little bit longer than usual because of what I am doing here. And I don't want to do this as a kind of a quickie job because I want to I don't want to mess anything up, and I want to take my time and make sure that, you know, make sure that I do a satisfactory job with it. Okay, so I'm going to flip the book. Okay. So I'm just kind of going around the edges, like I said, of the design with the little brush. And then I will take, when I get that done, I'll take a bigger brush and I'll go around the bigger areas with it. And then that should give us a nice background for this. Okay, be very careful in between here. Okay. So I just try to be really careful around the edges here because I don't want I really don't want to bork anything up. I really don't. Okay. So flipping the book again. So this is how I do my backgrounds, such as they are. Oops. Such as they are. This is how I do them. Okay. And sorry that I'm having to get kind of close to this, but I want to try to oops. I'm trying to do the best job that I can with this without getting careless. Okay. So I think I need to flip the book back over. Okay. All right, guys. Give me just 1 second while I grab this book. I gotta maneuver without getting paint everywhere. Oh boy, oob. Okay. All right. So what I'm going to try to do is I'm going to bring the book this way and get to this edge right there. Hopefully we'll be able to see that. Okay. Okay, grab some more paint. And I'm going to come over here and do this sort of area right here, this bigger part. Just very carefully. Very carefully. So Anne, I really hope that I am doing your picture justice. I really do. I hope I am doing it justice. I was, just so you guys know, I had talked about this yesterday in part 1 of this color along, and I appeared as a guest on Manera's live show this morning. Oops. Can I get that up? Ooh, yeah, I got that on my pencil line right there. Doggone it. I knew I was going to do that eventually. Okay, might have to take that purple pencil and go over that again. Okay. Ah. Try to get that around here. Okay, so like I said, I appeared as a guest on Anne's live show this morning, and she was coloring out of her book called Tangled Mandalas, I think it was called, and she was showing how to do a wood grain effect. And yeah, so she was showing how to do a wood grain effect, which is really cool. And so we talked about the color along that's happening. We talked about the color along. And she asked me to talk about like what I do on my channel. So I did that, and we just, it was, while she colored, we just chatted, and then it was a live event, so it was a streaming event. She streamed the event this morning, and yeah. Okay, I think I might have to take my purple pencil and go back over where I got paint where I didn't want to get paint. But I knew that I was going to end up doing that at some point. I knew that was eventually going to happen. I'll just try to be more careful with this. I mean, I try to be careful anyway, but sometimes you do end up going over. So I'll probably have to take the purple pencil and go back over that, because look at what I did right there. Look at what I did right there. But this is what we get over on the okay, so we got all the edges done, it looks like. So now I can take the bigger brush. I'm going to clean out my brush here. I can take a bigger brush and actually go over. Actually, what I think I'm going to do is I'm going to take the smaller brush and just kind of go where the crease of the, go over where the, like where the, not the crease, but where the book is bound. Because with the bigger brush, I know I'm going to get it everywhere. So I'm just going to take the smaller brush and I'm just going to kind of go in here like this. Like so. And try to get down in there as much as I can. I hope you guys can see this pretty well. I'm probably going to get paint on the back side of the previous page, but I'm not too worried about that because there's nothing there. I just want to get where the binding is, because I think the smaller brush would work a lot better in that area. And I got my wax paper, so if it goes over, that's not going to be too bad. So I'm just going over it like this. Try to get down in there where that binding is. And then what I'll do is for the bigger portions, I'll take a bigger brush and do that. The acrylic paint will actually dry pretty quickly. Okay, so there's that. And then I'll take it over this way. Alright, so I'm going to clean that brush out. I'm going to grab a bigger brush and we're going to turn the book over like this. We're going to just maneuver the book like so. So we got around the mandala part. And I'm probably going to have to take my purple pencil and go back over where I borked up and got the paint over the pencil part. Alright, so I've gone ahead and I zoomed out. And so I'm going to grab a bigger brush and I'm going to just go over the portion, the bigger part with the bigger brush. Okay, I'm just going to use a bigger brush and just kind of go over the bigger areas with this. And we're just going to do it like this. We're just going to paint it on. And I might have to do several coats of this, but we're just going to do long strokes like this. And if I get it over the wax paper, I'm not going to worry about that because it shouldn't get on, it should not get on another page because of the wax paper. And I might have to put some more paint down. I'm just going in some downward strokes right now with this. And I'm gonna put down a little bit more paint. Okay. Just add a little bit more paint to the palette. so. And again, I'm just going to go in downward strokes. Try to connect them up. So this is going to make the page kind of crinkle just a little bit because it is wet. It's a wet medium. But it's not like watercolor where it's really going to like seep through. Or it shouldn't. It shouldn't be like watercolor where it's going to seep right through like watercolor will. Because watercolor on Create Space paper, unless you gesso that page, does not go very well. So you can watercolor on Create Space paper, you just have to gesso your page because if you don't, you are going to be very sad. Okay. So let's go ahead and maneuver the book a little bit more. Being very careful not to dislodge anything. Ugh. Okay. Paint on my hands, but that is part of the job, I guess. Part of the job. And I'm just gonna dot where I see white spaces there, and then I'm just gonna go over it like this. Being very careful with it. Okay. All right. So I'm just doing some long strokes to try to get it so it's not going to streak. And we're getting there. We're getting there. Gonna even it out just a little bit. I feel like I'm painting my walls. My walls actually do need painting, but my husband is a lot better at that than I am. Me, not so good. Okay. This isn't looking too bad, you guys. It really isn't. Alright, so now I'm just going to go over this way. And just make sure that I connect the dots, as they say. I'm just going to do some long fluid strokes here on this page, but we've about got the job done. We've about got the job done, folks. Honest to goodness. Home stretch. Kind of dot where I see white. Like so. All right. So I think that's going to do it. Oh, found some streaks. Just try to I don't like streaks. All right, clean out that brush. Okay, guys, I think we are done with this one. Oops. So let me go ahead and zoom out, and let's not disturb anything here. Okay, I want to keep that wax paper there until everything totally dries. But here is what we have. I'm going to make sure that we're zoomed out. Okay. So here is what we have. This is our finished picture. So this is pretty much done. I think what I need to do is just kind of go over where, maybe take my purple pencil and just kind of clean up the areas that I went over with the paint. But here it is. This is what we've got done. And see right there, I went over that pencil. Like that's where I really messed it up right there. But here is what it looks like. Here is pretty much the finished product. And so I will just try to clean some areas up, but for all intents and purposes, this is our finished product. So this is the first picture in the Color Along with Ann Manera completed. And I will post this up on, I'll put this up in my group, and I'll put this up in Ann's group as well. And this will also go on Instagram as soon as I kind of clean up the spillages here. But this is it, guys. I think it turned out pretty cool. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and we will color another picture next time. I don't know what book that we're going to use, but I will think of something. And so that's that. You all have a great day, and don't forget to subscribe, and while you are subscribing, you hit that bell so you can be notified when new videos are uploaded. And by subscribing to my channel, you become a Goldie, which is what I call my subscribers, because I am totally goners over golden retrievers, and that's just my little term of endearment for everybody. And so when you subscribe, you become a Goldie. Don't forget to leave a comment and tell me what you think. Of course, hit that like button, and the more you do that, the more traffic it gets on YouTube, and the more it helps me out, and the more it will help Ann out, because this video hopefully will get the word out about her artwork. This is what this Color Along is intended for, that more people will come to love her artwork as much as I do. Alright, so you all have a great day, and we will talk to you in the next video. Okay, bye my little goldies.